All right. Well, hello, and welcome everyone to our BG5 Live for today. This is July 9th, 2019, and this is episode 14. And today with BG5 Live, we're going to take a look at harmonious transition and change. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at today. So before we get started, let's hear from our team. Let's hear from our panel. Let's start with Natalie. Hey, Natalie, welcome.
Yes, thank you. I'm happy we're going to have a little bit of my cross today as well. Or my
your life work.
Yeah, my life work.
Your life work theme. Yes.
Yeah, my life work theme. So my birthday was last Friday, so you'll see why I say that. I'm happy to be here.
Woohoo! Well, welcome, Natalie and Lavina. Hey, Lavina.
Hey, Karen. Hey, Natalie. So great to be here with you guys. Very excited for today to see what turns up in this harmonious transition and time of change.
Yes, exactly. And Chris isn't able to join us for today. She is traveling, so we will jump in and get started. So, what I wanted to start with is last week was the 4th of July. Still have a little bit of a bug in my throat, so sometimes I may need to clear my throat just to give you a heads up. So last week was the 4th of July. So it was happy 4th of July. It was Independence Day here in the United States. And one of the things that we were taking a look at last week is we were taking a look at trait 39. So we were taking a look at obstruction. We were taking a look at, this provoking. And I was looking up the birth date of the United States. So it's July 4th, 1776 at 4:50 p.m. in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So that's where the United States started. And so what you can see is I put together a birth chart, if you will, of the United States. And one of the things we're talking about today is beginnings. So this was the beginning of the United States. And so with this, I wanted to share a few things and just kind of recognizing what, some elements about the United States. And, we do this in BG5 and taking a look at your career design, in taking a look at what you're designed to do and how you're designed to make decisions and also what your life work theme is, what your focus is, how your purpose is fulfilled. And so you can do this for a country. So you could do it for your own country. You can do it for a business. So kind of understanding how the business operates. And of course, we do it for ourselves as well. And so I thought it'd be interesting to kind of explore the birth of the United States. Again, what we're taking a look at today is beginnings, and it happened to be Natalie's birthday on July 5th, and she has this same life work theme. So I thought it was really brilliant to be able to share that. And then the theme for today is actually similar to my life work theme as well. So this is one of the things that we talk about and we discuss and learn about in BG5, as well as when we are doing analysis, is taking a look at what your life work is. So if we take a look at the United States, the life work theme is individualism. If we take a look at its transpersonal focus, it's a messenger and an authority. When we take a look at how its purpose is fulfilled, it's fulfilled through form. And the core essence is this single-mindedness. And this is what Natalie was talking about last week, this rare ability to not overcome, but to bypass obstacles. And so I thought I'd have Natalie actually share a little bit, since this actually happens to be her life work theme as well. Instead of me kind of describing what it's about in relationship to the United States, I'd love to hear from Natalie and have Natalie share a little bit from her perspective. Again, her individual chart, her career design chart, is going to be a bit different than the United States, of course, because she was, born at a different time in a different location. However, this life work theme is the same. So Natalie, I would love to hear from you and to just share a little bit about this what this life work theme of individualism means, what this transpersonal focus of the messenger and authority means, this purpose fulfilled through form and this core essence of single-mindedness. What does that all represent, or how does it show up for you in your life, in that being your life work theme?
I don't like to compare myself to the United States, but remember what I shared last week?
I know, exactly. That's another reason why I brought it up.
How funny. What a coincidence.
But anyway, you know, this was a few decades ago, a few centuries ago. So, totally different world. No, so the first thing I want to point out is the purpose fulfilled through form. So form is really about creating, building, organizing, etc. So that is really interesting, that it's the birth of the United States really creating a society through form. This is what we do. So there are different purposes, different ways in purposes that can be fulfilled through form or through mind. So educating, or through bonding. So in relationship with others, or through transformation. But this one is through form, and that's interesting. With, you know, the United States really was created, so to say, and the society was established. And then, the life work theme of individualism. It's funny. So I love my life work theme, but thinking of what it says, the phrase is, what was it again? Sorry, I can just blurb it out. So it is the, I have my book here.
I should have written it out, right.
It's like unique beings that can, let me look it up before I blur out something really. So yeah, mutative forces that shock you with their intuitive knowing and staunch individualism, but are not easily influenced themselves. Now, I love it for myself, but I can really see it for the United States as well. So I'm a foreigner, so I'm just going to blurb out what's on my mind. So this is really the United States. Like, yay, we are the world. We rule the world. If there is something to I know, if there's somewhere there's a war, we just go there and help those people, you know. So, but not easily influence themselves. So the other way around, you know, we close the borders. There's nothing. We are, and then single-mindedness. Well, if it's so funny to do this from my perspective and for the United States anyway.
And it's so interesting also, again, to hear it from someone who, you know, who's not American, who doesn't live in the United States.
You know what? Shall I share a secret? I've never ever set a foot in the United States because of it. But I will visit you soon enough. And I have changed my close perspective of the United States, but I'm just doing my my thing here. So the single-mindedness, well, if we wouldn't see the rare ability to overcome but to bypass obstacles, but just listen to single-mindedness, that's what I typically would put on all Americans. But anyway, yeah, it's so funny. But I don't see how. There probably are millions of examples of the rare ability to overcome obstacles by bypassing it. Well, in the birth of the United States and the becoming. Yeah, well, and I'm not going into this one because, there have been happening a lot of bad stuff as well, going through and not bypassing. Anyway. So
how does it show up for you personally? Like,
personally.
I know I kind of put you on the spot and compare yourself to the United States.
So,
but just for yourself personally, how does individualism show up?
Yeah, so It is true. So my only strength is the 52-9, and that's a collective strength of logic. So that's, yeah, maybe you can indicate with the pointer. Yes, over there. So my energy, my strength, my life energy is collective, is sharing the logical things. But then my full life work theme are all individual traits, and it's called individualism. So I so identify with the individual circuitry as well, although it's not my general thematic. And yes, it's so true. So what I just read, mutative forces that shock you with their staunch individualism and their intuitive knowing. Mm-hmm. I even shock myself sometimes from what comes out of my mouth when I work with clients. So this is really the intuitive knowing, and yes, since there is this energy of provoking the spirit. What comes out can sometimes be like whoa, you know, and the shock. So the shock is in the 51, and the intuitive knowing in the 57, and then provoking and fighting for. Anyway, so yes, I do see that show up, and the other part that I really notice as well, but not easily influence themselves. So don't start to advise me because I go. I really don't care. I have to learn it for myself or through my own experience or from my intuitive knowing. But if other people start to kind of try to, it's icky. It's really, no, I'm not easily influenced. You can like this. BG5 and what I've learned and what you've shared since you did my full analysis before coming into the institute, etc. It's because I'm looking for it, but just out of the blue and from outside is no way.
Yeah, very interesting. Any observations or anything that you would like to add?
Yeah. Yes, please.
Yeah, you know, I've only known a couple of individualisms, and what I recognize is that they really have strong personalities, like preferences. Their predisposition is a little bit of hard-headed, like, no, this is the way I'm going, and I'm not listening to you because I have to go my own way. It's a very strongly individual, deeply personal life work where they have this path perhaps that's not designed to be deviated by what other people try to impose on them. Yeah. My sense of it.
Yeah, and the stubbornness coming from trait 38. I totally recognize. I get this back as well. So sometimes, mostly in my earlier life, it was quite difficult because I just bull it out and people don't accept it always. So now I'm more soft about it or political about it. Yeah, please.
And even, you know, it's not just the 38 trait, but I looked up the 5th quality, and in the challenge it says the energy to provoke through hard-headedness. So it's both sides. You got it there.
Right. Yeah.
True. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And you know, part of what we talked about last week is we talked about you know, this obstruction, and then also what's on the other side of obstruction is this new beginning, you know, is this new unfolding. And so as we take a look at, in a sense, this new beginning, if we take a look at trait 53, and I think I said 42 last week, it's on the other side of 53, but 42 is really the completion, it's the growth. But where things start is really here in the 53, right? And the 53 is about beginnings. It's about transition. It's about change. So it's the development. It's the development as a structured progression that is both steadfast and enduring. And it is a format pressure, right? It is, you know, it is this pressure in the drive and stamina. And it's this pressure to begin something new. And it's a move, again, from obstruction to beginnings. And so when I was thinking about this, when I was contemplating this, I was thinking of the butterfly, right? When the butterfly is in the cocoon, it has this obstruction, it has this cocoon that it has to fight its way out of. And, if somebody just cuts it open, right, they're trying to help out and they just cut it open, then the butterfly can't fly because it wasn't able to, part of that struggle in getting out of the cocoon, is actually building its muscles. It's building its ability to fly. And so the obstruction is really part of the process. The same thing with the chick hatching out of the egg, right? It takes time. There's an obstruction that they have to break through. And then on the other side, there's this new beginnings. And so it's very interesting that we're moving from the obstruction in the 39 into this 53 of beginnings, transition and change. Anything you'd like to add, Lavina?
Oh, I love this analogy that you bring up because it's so true. If somebody were to try and help out this butterfly and cut open the cocoon, it could damage and make it so that it was never able to do what it was designed to do, which is fly. And what I notice about this process of moving from obstruction into new beginnings, sometimes there's false starts, and that's what we're having today. Like we had actually 3 false starts trying to get this to go on to Facebook Live, and that, in the quality of trial and erroring, we need to figure out what works. So for these people like Natalie, it's let them do their thing. Let them be hard-headed, let them struggle, let them fight, let them provoke, because that's their energy. And here, these are people who are about starting new things. And having that energy to start means then that you have this pressure to complete what you begin, but sometimes people don't have the other side. And I get to notice a lot of people like you, people like Loki, who have the 53, 54, and the partnership is so beautiful when you have other aspects. It shows us how we're interdependent. So we're not designed to do things alone for the most part. We really are dependent on each other. So it's a beautiful place to be, this new beginnings that we have this week. And then we're in eclipse season. So, all of this energy for transformation and change. I hear there's a ton of bodies of energy that are in retrograde movement, like our Mercury. It's a pretty common thing, Mercury retrograde, to know about, that we need to kind of maybe take stock in where we're going, because it's actually in the trait of 31 right now. Yeah, so leadership and influence. Yeah, interesting qualities we have right now.
Yeah. And so again, with this new beginnings and I think when we take a look at, what BG5 is all about, and when we take a look at our career design, just kind of going back to when we take a look at individualism, how important it is to, that's what we're taking a look at when we're taking a look at our design. We're taking a look at, in a sense, how we are uniquely ourselves. And when you start to see, in a sense, this individualism of who you are, yourself as an individual, right? It starts to, sometimes it's a struggle when you first learn what your career design is. First of all, it may be, there's a lot of conditioning that's taken place. There's a lot of times that people have told you that you should be one way, or you should be another way, or you should be this or that. And so sometimes, there's obstacles in the way to truly being who you are, right? To be an individual. And so you have to, in a sense, sort of break through that obstruction to start something new, to really get in tune with who you are, what you're designed to do, what your life work is, what your life purpose is, and how do you really express it? This happens to be, I was born in January, so this is just another flavor of it. So for me, it's in transition. It's in transformation. Here, the 53 is in form, and so here it isn't with penetration is the life theme, and that's about, in a sense, going deep. Like not on the surface. It's really kind of penetrating to the core of what's happening, what's going on. And so in a sense, it's, in a sense, going to the core of what's in the core of the egg, or what's in the core of the of the cocoon, you know, and starting to move through that obstruction and taking a look at what's in the core of yourself, like penetrating to the depths of really who you are, what you're designed to do, who you're designed to be, so that you can really start, in a sense, this new beginning. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything, Natalie, you would like to add?
No, I love what you've said all both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of interesting in a sense, sort of the flow, but also how it all ties in together, and it all kind of shows this process. And what's very interesting about the 53, right? It is one of the, again, one of the format pressures, right? So it creates a kind of a frequency of cycles: beginnings, middles, ends, beginnings, middles, ends, beginnings, middles, ends. And this is a beginning, right? This is a beginning, and any kind of beginning, there's transition, there's change, mm-hmm. there's something new.
Mm-hmm. What I just wanted to say, so as Lavina was sharing, Lavina has the other side, the 54, so she's good in ending what you start. So
the 42.
Sorry, the 42, yeah. You have the 53, yeah. The 42, sorry. So this is really beautiful how you operate together and in creating, for instance, the Profit Potential coaching certification. Starting, so you started out and Lavina is able to finish it. And then I come in.
And you perfect it.
Yeah, exactly. With my that's what I've been doing, you know, now teaching the foundation course and yeah, so it's
bringing really more logical structure and refining and yeah.
So funny how you really, each and every one of us have our rightful place in the totality. Yeah,
exactly. And it's interesting because my grounding in this 53 is all about, it's actually in quality 1. So it really is, it's new beginnings, but it's not, but it's new beginnings based on the old, mm-hmm. right? So it's based on a foundation of the old, right? To create something new. So there's continuity, but there's a newness in, you know, bringing some newness into what is already existed. So creating something new, not from scratch, mm-hmm. you know, but based on, in a sense, the perfection of the old. And in essence, in BG5, that's exactly what I've been doing.
And, you know, I got a chance to look over all the foundations, like not all of them, but at least 4 of them, after having seen, you know, the iterations over the years, and then Natalie go through and you went through again. And I have to say, it really is something new. Although Ra might have put this out into the world, you know, as a baseline, as a structure, the way that we have it formatted and explained and detailed and having this comprehensive look at how we can apply it to career and business, it really is something totally new that's built on the foundation of the old. So I'm really excited about that new beginnings that we have here. And we have 2 foundation courses for people to experience this fall. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, exactly. Both Natalie and Lavina are starting a foundation course. And so, you know, if you're joining us here live, and if you're listening to the recording and you're really curious about learning more about your career design, like one of the best place to start is in the foundation course, because what it does is it builds a foundation to really understand who you are as an individual, so you can, again, have this new beginning of transition and change and really understanding who you are, in a sense, going deep, right? Part of my life work, you know, the theme is penetration. So also, you know, this is going deep into the material, going deep into the detail. And, you know, that's one of the ways that we've, you know, organized and put together these classes as well, you know, so that you can really, you know, even people that I've gotten comments that even people who have studied, you know, mm-hmm. human design for a long period of time, even those that have been living your design, you know, instructors and have been human design analysts, even that, just giving this kind of different perspective. And again, the different perspective from the career, from the business, from the life work aspect of it, gives you a whole other flavor of how your design operates from that perspective.
Yeah, and the practical, just to put it in there, the practical day-to-day use of how to live by your design and the challenges you face, etc.
Right, exactly. The practical application of it as well. Yep, definitely. So definitely check it out. And both of them are doing an introduction class, like to really get a flavor for what it's all about. And you get to attend the first class free as well. So you can really, and the first class is really amazing just in the first piece that we take a look at in understanding how to understand your career design. So I invite you all who are listening to check it out. And we'll have a slide here at the end where, with a link of how you can get there. But I definitely invite you to check it out. It's free to check it out, and then if you're inspired, if you're moved by your decision-making strategy, if it feels like it's something that's really correct for you, again, it's an opportunity to have this, new beginning and new perspective and new understanding of who you are and what you're here to do, which is magical.
Mm-hmm.
So when we take a look at, again, continuing with trait 53 for today, beginnings and transition and change, today, harmonious development is the key. And so again, this is quality 3. This is practicality. So that's what Natalie was mentioning earlier. Even in taking a look at the foundation courses and going through them, it's really understanding how to use this in a very, very practical way. Right? And quality 3 is the pioneer, and it also learns through trial and error. And here's the thing with trait 53 and quality 3, it's the concentration on avoiding conflict to ensure protection and continued development. So I have, there's like 2 roads. You can go off-road, right? And there can be all kinds of conflict and you don't know what's going to be there. Or you can just take the, like practically, it makes sense just to go on the smooth paved road, right? That there's harmony. You don't have to worry about what's coming up, and if you're going to drive over something, and who knows what could be out in this field. So in a sense, it's avoiding the conflict to ensure protection, making sure just doing it in a practical way, the straightforward way. So this is the pressure to eliminate conflict in order for development. And then on the other side, remember, there's always 2 sides of the coin. You can also have the unconscious provoking of conflict that logically threatens security and development. And you also have the energy to provoke conflict, which threatens development. So, we still have a bit, it's very interesting. We were just talking about provoking last week. And there's this element of provoking here as well when we take a look at the quality 3 of practicality, when we're taking a look at the new beginnings. So in the new beginnings, this is about, go down the road that's easy, right? Mm-hmm. Oftentimes in new beginnings, we can get confused. We don't know how to, we don't know what to do. We don't know where to go, so in essence, we go off and try to 4-wheel it when we don't have a 4-wheel vehicle. We can get stuck, we can have all kinds of conflict driving through the fields. So, take the easy road, take the one that's in harmony. There's no need for that conflict.
We don't need that farmer coming after us with his shotgun. No.
Exactly.
I don't want to run over any chickens. But it's so true. It's wonderful to have us go through these processes of the qualities, because now we're looking at, okay, 3rd quality, practicality. It is practical to avoid conflict. It is so practical to eliminate conflict and to go with what works, to avoid that conflict that ensures our protection and continued development so that we can complete what we begin. It is harmonious development is key. Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. And so again, what's the easy way, and it's okay. It's not cheating. It's the easy way is there. Go with the flow. Exactly.
Yeah, because this is a general misunderstanding of life. You have to work hard. You have to exactly this phrase. You have to work hard. You have to put in effort. Otherwise, you will not get anywhere. Mm-hmm. No, it's all about, getting in the flow when living out your unique design, and then it's actually an harmonious development.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's and I was talking earlier that's it's magical when you really understand what your life work is, what your life purpose is, how you fulfill your life work and your life purpose, because it's almost like, oh, I can avoid all this conflict in my head of what I should be, what I have to be, what people have told me to be, blah, 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 blah. Take a look at, we just sent out a newsletter today, and we have a blog post with one of our students who wrote a case study of, what, kind of what her life was like, kind of a lot of conflict and a lot of, making herself wrong, not being good enough, trying to prove herself. And, she ended up in conflict. She ended up in a car accident, which really changed her life. And at first it was not comfortable. Sometimes when you go down the road of conflict, right, you end up on the same place, but it's kind of like, that's the hard way.
Yeah, that's bumpy, right?
Yeah, just like we were talking about getting hit in the head by a 2x4 last week, right? Getting hit in the head with a bat. That's like, you don't have to be hit over the head with a bat, or a 2x4, in order to have these new beginnings, right? Practically, if we take a look at, okay, how can we avoid the conflict? How can we avoid the upset and really get aligned with who we are? And when we're making decisions correctly, life takes us exactly where we need to go. Yeah, and we can just, in a sense, enjoy the ride. It doesn't always mean that it's going to be perfect, but what it does mean is that we can kind of sit back and we can kind of, even when things go wrong, I have quality 3 as part of my life work. So, part of the pioneer is that, as a pioneer, to discover things, you can't discover things if you don't take risks. You can't discover things if you don't fail. You can't discover things if you don't make mistakes. So this is a trial and error process, and it's not always easy. And so, it's very easy to put up more conflict than you really need. And so why take on more than we need? Just when you're following your decision-making strategy, life works, right? And that's the practical side, of what BG5 is all about, is really taking a look at when you're following your decision-making strategy. And that's what we take a look at and uncovering in the foundation course. When you're following your decision-making strategy, right? It helps you avoid that conflict and ensure the protection and continued development.
Yeah, and you know what? If you're aligned and you're using your decision-making strategy, perhaps you will provoke conflict, but it's going to be the right provocation that's going to be right for you, that will help you discover what does work in this new beginning. So it doesn't make life perfect, but it makes life precious because it's your struggle, your fight, and it's rewarding to you. It might be satisfying, or it might feel successful because I don't know who doesn't love a good challenge. Like, that good challenge when you you can figure this out if you just try it this way or this way. And then it's like, breakthrough. And we have something that really feels good. And so it doesn't eliminate it, like everything becomes harmonious. It can still be conflicted, but you get through it, learning something valuable from that experience.
Yeah.
Like our blog post that Natalie shared here in the Zoom chat, and I've also got it on the Facebook, wherever you're finding this video. Check out some of our case studies from our BG5 consultants and students who have actually applied this in the world. Because oftentimes people get so excited about and hopped up on human design and this maybe BG5, and they start spewing without necessarily having applied it. And this is where the rubber meets the road in your own life. It's to really ingrain it into your data of how you operate and see what shows up for you and how differently you experience the world because of your new framework of how you make a decision that you can trust.
Yeah, exactly. And I love the title of the article. It's Finding Purpose Through Crashed Ambition.
It's
A case
perfect for
study.
this week.
So
Yeah.
it really, it really fits in with exactly what we're talking about today. So I really encourage you to read that case study, because it really kind of shows that whole process.
Yeah, I've witnessed it from close up. She's Dutch as well. But what I wanted to say, so you have these two sides of the coin. So when Lavina was saying this, and she is a third quality in her life work, in her public role, so she really knows, you really know about, this whatever provoking and having struggles, but your true struggles, and then finding what's on the other side. So unconsciously provoking of conflict, that logic threatens security and development, and the energy provokes conflict and threatens development. It may happen for a very good reason. So it's not wrong, So if it's correct, it may happen. So nothing's in this sense good or bad. It's not the good side and the bad side of the coin. It's happening for a reason, and you may provoke conflict unconsciously, but then you'll learn something through it, learning through mistakes and trial and errors.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And that is really, really the key, the underlying key to quality 3 is there is no such things as, mistakes. There is no such thing as failure. It's all a trial and error process. And the only quote unquote true failure is thinking that it's a failure, right? And giving up. And thinking that there's something wrong. That's the only failure. It really is there to learn. So again, we have two sides of the coin, and two sides of the coin are simply two sides of the coin. There's not a good and a bad. It's just, two different perspectives, two different ways that it can happen, two different ways to look at it. And, no matter which way it happens, it's going to provoke something to get back to, what is really practical. Right? Discovering what doesn't work. It's part of what the third quality is all about.
Yeah, and to phrase Chris, so Chris shared in the foundation course when she was assisting me back then, there's no mistake. You take a mistake to find the right take.
Yeah, like when you're shooting a movie, take 1, take 2, take 3.
Yep, exactly. So what would you say, if we're going to share with everyone, kind of what to meditate on, to contemplate, to write about? What would you say would be the theme or the focus in what they should observe and write about? Yeah, what did they learn?
That's it. Whatever experience you might have on this kind of day, new beginnings, false starts, transition, change. If something you're struggling with turns out in a way that you don't prefer, what did you learn from the experience? That's always the best track to take anytime you're dealing with anything 3-ish, quality 3. It's what did I learn? Because in our society, so many of us are taught to exalt only success, and we are ashamed of our failures, so we hide them instead of sharing, hey, this is what I learned. Here's what I learned. This was what went wrong, and here's how to avoid crashing into that brick wall.
Yep, love it. Perfect.
And so I really encourage everybody to read the case study as well, because this is full of, this is what I learned.
Yep, exactly.
It's a beautiful case study.
That's what we're here for, to learn from each other.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Grow together.
Yeah. So that's the perfect theme for today. What did I learn? Very, very perfect. All right. Well, that wraps up our BG5 Live. So just a couple of things here. First of all, if you want to find out what your decision-making strategy is and how you can learn more, again, you can download a free report. It's a personalized report, so you can do that. You can go to our website at bg5institute.com. We are we're uploading our BG5 Live on Facebook and LinkedIn and Vimeo. Yep. So like and subscribe. And if you want to catch up on the recordings, it's a great place to do that. Tomorrow we start our next Profit Potential Workshop. And here we're going to be taking a look at Profit by Being You through Identity and Direction. So it's going to be an amazing workshop, and that starts tomorrow. And if you haven't gotten a chance to be on board, we are going to start this series at the beginning, starting in September. So
a new beginning.
And new beginnings, exactly. And speaking of new beginnings, in September we have the foundation course and the BG5 certification course that are starting. And both Lavina and Natalie are going to be teaching the foundation course. So sign up. And again, you get the free trial to check it out. And also Natalie will be starting a BG5 certification course as well. So encourage you to check it out and sign up. So again, thank you so much for being here. And before we wrap up for today, I'd like to just get the last words from our panel, and then we will say goodbye. So Natalie, last words.
Yeah, provoke the hell away. We're still provoking, so keep on the good stuff.
Love it. And for you, Lavina?
You know, I'm reading the Facebook messengers here, and it looks like Rob has joined us and Amy's joined us. Just wanted to say a special shout out. Welcome to you guys. Thanks for commenting. And Amy wanted to add that she's a third line profile, so she often feels like I should never have done what I consider a mistake. But nowadays I have to remind myself about what new insights it gave me. So yeah, hopefully today's session with us has brought some new insights, you know. Hopefully you've got a new perspective, and we hope that you can join us again in the future. Next week, Tuesday, 1 p.m. Pacific, we'll be here.
Woohoo! Yay! Well, thank you, Lavina. Thank you, Natalie. And again, just to wrap everything up, again, my name is Karen Sherwood. And to wrap everything up, again, as we said, as we were wrapping everything up, the whole theme is, what did I learn? Right? There is no such thing as a mistake. There is no such thing as failure. All there is what did I learn? And again, with new beginnings, you know, starting something new, there's going to be some trial and error, right? Mm-hmm. Whenever you start something new, it's never easy. Nope. So give yourself a break, right? See what you learned, and enjoy the week. And we look forward to seeing you all next week. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Awesome team, awesome panel. Really great to have all of you here live in our BG5 Zoom room, and also on our Facebook Live as well. So we'll see you all next week. And until then, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.